Let's start over 10.
Okay, really quick, he gave the example of the denominators being either 10, 100, or 1000. We're really just going to focus on 10 or 100.
Let's start easy to write. We have a number. All we have to do is put a 1.
So the denominator is 10. So notice where he put that 1. He put the numerator into the 10th place.
When that's 0 makes the
It brings up a good point. Even though there's no number that we're putting into the ones place, we always put a 0 in the ones place when we're talking about decimals. Even if you don't have anything in the ones place, if you have a 1 or a 2 or a 3, whatever you have, you can put one there in the ones place. If you don't have anything, you still put a 0. Just so that way, like he said, it's easy for people to see where your decimal point is.
what if we have 2 over 10? 2 is change 2. 2 over 10.
Notice all what's happening here. As the numerator changes, the number in the tenths place changes. The numerator tells you what goes into that place value. So he showed us some different ones, like if the numerator is 2, the number in the tenths place is 2. If it's a 9, number in the tenths place is a 9. If it's a 1, the number in the tenths place is a 1. Whatever your numerator is, that's what goes into the tenths place.
But look what happened. 10 makes sense. Of course, we don't do the 0 split.
So he showed us that once you get to 10 tenths, you can't fit 2 digits into the same place value. So we have to use the next one. So we end up with 1.0.
Of course, we don't use the decimal. Let's start.
But notice how this is a little bit different. Our denominator is 100 now, 10. So we're not putting our numbers into the 10th place, we're putting them into the hundredths place. Still the same thing. If our numerator is a 1, number in the hundredths place is a 1.
Still need to.
Notice what he said there. The zeros are what they call placeholders. It's there to let people know that those place values are blank. So just because there's nothing in there, or if there's nothing in there, that means that we put zeros to show that they are empty. There's nothing there.
Let's keep on.
So see what happened here. When he got to 10, he couldn't fit both of his digits into the hundredths place anymore. So he had to use the next place value, the tenths. So when you have 10 out of 100, it's 0.10. You put a 1 in the tenths place, and now there's a 0 in the hundredth. But look at those two numbers. There's a 10 for our numerator, and there's a 10 after the decimal.
this happens. Think about it. 10th.
Honestly, the way he's doing it and the way he's explaining it here, absolutely fine. But the way I think that it's a little bit easier to remember is whatever your numerator is, whatever that number on top is, it goes behind your decimal. So the number on top is 11. That means behind my decimal, I'm going to write 11. Now, what he said, like I said, is completely true. This is the same as 10 hundredths plus 1 extra hundredth. 10 hundredths would be the same thing as 1/10, and 1/100th is hundredth.
Look at it. 24 over 2 over 100 would be 0.2 over 100.
So again, notice what's happening there. Whatever number is the numerator is always after the decimal. 24 is the numerator. 24 goes after the decimal. 32 is the numerator. 32 goes after the decimal. 78 is the numerator. 78 goes after the decimal. Or 99 is my numerator. 99 goes after the decimal. Okay, so this part we don't really need to see. It's the same thing. It'll work the same way, but we don't really work with thousands in 4th grade. We can go ahead, turn our cameras back on. I want you to go to classwork. We're going to go to math. We're going to see this assignment here. It says decimals to fraction. I want you to go ahead and open that up. We're not going to do all of it today. We're going to do little by little bit. So this will be kind of like how we do DLR. We do a little bit every day. Same thing here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to this first question. It says, Mr. Lang surveyed the 4th grade class to see how many wanted to go to college after high school. He found that 89 out of 100 students did want to attend college. Which of the answer choices shows this as a decimal? So they want us to change this fraction into a decimal. I can see that the bottom, my denominator, is 100. So I know that I'm going to need my tenths place and my hundredths place. So the first thing I would do is I would get rid of any answer choice that doesn't use the hundredths place. Answer choice A has a decimal, tenth, and 100th. Answer choice B has a decimal and a tenth, but no 100th. I could cross out answer choice B. Answer choice C does not even have a decimal. If they want me to make it into a decimal, they should at least have a decimal point somewhere. So I can't pick answer choice C either. Answer choice D has a decimal, tenth, and a 100th place. I'm left with two answer choices, A and D. A says 100.89. D says 0.89. Who can tell me what answer choice do you think shows this fraction as a decimal? Violet, what do you think? Answer choice A or answer choice D? Answer choice D. We have the numerator, 89. It goes after the decimal. The denominator is just there to tell me which place values to use. I don't need to add the 100 to the front or to the back of my decimal. So 89 out of 100, if I made it a decimal, would be answer choice D. Jaylene, make sure we have our camera on, make sure we're focused, and don't worry about your icon. Fix that later after school. Number 2. Janice and 2 friends have some chocolate at lunch. The model below represents the amount of chocolate they ate. Which decimal represents how much chocolate they ate? Okay, so they showed us 2 chocolate bars. In this case, the chocolate are the parts that are still there. So this is what they have. All these blank spaces are the pieces of chocolate they already ate. So we can see that they ate 1 whole bar of chocolate, and they also ate part of the other bar. Who can tell me how many pieces is that chocolate bar cut up into? Jadine?
It's cut up into 20 pieces.
Cut up into 10 pieces. Okay. So, we know that they ate 1 whole candy bar. 1 whole. We know that the other candy bar, they haven't eaten everything yet. They've eaten just a part of it. Jadine told us that there are 10 pieces of chocolate in that candy bar. Who can tell me how many pieces from the second chocolate bar did they already eat? How many pieces are gone now? Noah, how many pieces are gone? 5 pieces. So there are 5 pieces gone. Her and her friends ate 1 whole candy bar plus 5 pieces out of 10 pieces of the next candy bar. Now that I have a fraction, I can see that my denominator is 10. That means I'm only going to use the 10th place. I'm going to look at my answer choices, and any answer choice that doesn't have just the 10th place, I'm going to get rid of it. A has a decimal a tenth, and a hundredth. A is not my answer. B has a decimal and a tenth. C has a decimal, a tenth, and a hundredth. I'm going to get rid of that. And D has a decimal and a tenth. That leaves me down to two answer choices. B says 15.5. D says 1.5. Who thinks they know which answer choice tells me the correct decimal? Kaylee, which one's correct? Answer choice D is my correct answer because answer choice B is telling me that they ate 15 candy bars. Do they show me 15 candy bars here? No, they only show me 2. There's no way that they can eat 15 candy bars if they only have 2. But what they can eat is they can eat 1 whole candy bar and then 5/10 of the next candy bar. Problem 3. Which equation shows an equivalent decimal and fraction? They gave us 4 answer choices, and they want us to tell them which one shows a decimal and a fraction that are equivalent. That means that they are equal, that they match, that they're the same. Take a look at all of these decimals. Every single decimal they gave me has 2 decimal places. A decimal, a tenth, and a hundredth. 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 That means that my fraction needs to have a denominator of 100. Some of them have that, and some of them don't. Who can tell me what answer choices can I get rid of because they don't have a denominator of 100? A, B, C, or D? Which ones do not have the 100 as a denominator? Kylie, which ones can I get rid of?
E.
Okay, answer choice A has a denominator of 10. Answer choice D has a denominator of 10. That means I only have 2 left to look at. Okay, like I told you earlier, whatever your numerator is, whatever number is on top of your fraction goes behind the decimal. There's something else I want you to notice. Any number, anything they put in front of the decimal goes in front of the fraction. So that part is pretty simple to match up. If it's in front of the decimal, it's in front of the fraction. B has 14 in front, and the fraction has 14 in front. C has 14 in front, and C has 14 in front on the fraction as well. So I need to pay attention to what they have as a numerator. B has a numerator of 6, and C has a numerator of 6. Looking at these 2 answer choices, which one of them has the right number behind the decimal? Which one shows me an equivalent decimal and fraction? Should I pick B or should I pick C? Kylie, since you helped me out earlier, what do you think? What makes you pick C instead of B? Why do you think it's better? Very good. We're looking at the hundredths. Behind answer choice C, behind the decimal, the 6 is in the hundredths. And for B, the 6 is in the tenths. If I looked at these numbers, this one has 6 behind the decimal. This one has 60. My numerator is not 60 out of 100, it's just 6. Answer choice, oh, hold on. Oops. Answer choice C is the best answer choice. Oh, why do I keep wanting to move that? I don't want to move that. There we go. Answer choice C is the best answer choice for me to pick. Question 4. Poppy made fudge. Each container can hold 10 pieces. She filled 3 and 5 out of 10 containers. Which decimal is equivalent to this number? Take a look at that denominator. The denominator is 10. That means that whatever fraction I pick needs to have a 10th place and only a 10th place. Who can tell me what answer choices can I get rid of because they're using the wrong place values? What answer choices are not just using the 10th place? Violet, you see some?
D and B.
Okay, so D has a decimal and a 10th place, so D is actually okay. B, same thing, decimal and a 10th place. So these are the ones that I want to keep. But A and C are using the 10th place and the 100th place. So I can get rid of A and I can get rid of C. Now B and D both have the 10th place, right? Let's look at our fraction. 3 and 5 out of 10. 3 and 5 out of 10. Looking at those two, who can tell me which decimal matches my fraction? 3 and 5 out of 10. Which decimal would actually match the fraction that they gave me? Take a look at the numerator. Who can tell me what the numerator of this fraction is? What's that number on top in the fraction? Ezekiel, put the glue away for now, sir. We don't need it. Tell me, Ezekiel, in that fraction, what number is on top? What's my numerator? Five. So Ezekiel, what number should be after my decimal?
3.5.
3.5 would match my fraction. Since 5 is my numerator, 5 needs to be after the decimal. If I look at answer choice B, they put the 5 in front of the decimal, not where it belongs. Okay. Problem 5 says the model below represents a fraction and a decimal greater than 1. Which fraction and decimal is represented by the shaded model? How many whole models are colored in? Who can tell me how many whole models are colored in? Alexa? 2 whole models are colored in. What about this last one, Alexa? Is the whole thing colored in or just a part of it? Just a part of it. Okay. How many parts are colored in, Alexa? 4 parts. Out of how many parts? Out of 100. So 2 whole models and 4 out of 100. So we know what our fraction is.
Mister,
Yes, ma'am.
can you go through all the page again? Well,
Wait.
no, not for like just number 2.
When we finish, sure. 2 whole models and 4 out of 100. Which fraction and decimal is represented by the shaded model? Well, we know what our fraction should look like. So, Alexa, does answer choice A look like the model we want? Or sorry, does it look like the fraction we want? You have
No.
2 and 40 out of 100.
No.
No, okay. That's close. But you said 4 out of 100. This says 40. What about B? 2 and 4 out of 100. Does that match our models? Okay. I'll leave it alone. C. 2 and 4 out of 10. Does that match our models? No. That's close again. They have the 2 in the right place. The 4 is in the right place this time, but their denominator should not be 10. What about the last one, Alexa? 2 and 40 out of 100. If we took away the 0 from 40, it'd be good, but it's not. There's only one fraction that matches our model. 2 and 4 out of 100. So my answer should be